you want to learn some awesomeness in less than just 5 minutes? I'm Riley, and let me introduce you to your mentor today. Hey Val, how you doing?
Super excited to be here.
Excellent. So listen, we have a lot of messages of people who are struggling with their product development and their DevOps, and they want to learn how we do it at Open Innovation Lab. Can you help us with that?
Absolutely. You know what's more interesting? We have a lot of conversations with customers who are actually wondering how they can bring the innovation and engagement that they see in open source communities into enterprise or DevOps teams. And we came up with this really smart approach in Open Innovation Labs, and I'm pretty sure you want to hear about it.
I want to hear about it.
Oh yeah. Well, we use a practice which is called impact mapping, which brings it all together. It brings everybody in a room in front of the board, and they create the organizational clarity about what they are building and why they're building it. So they start with a goal where executives tell the whole team why is this important, how it is supposed to change the organization. And not only this, but they also describe what success looks like. How do we measure success? And then we would go with the whole team and explore what are the different customer groups, the users, try to build better understanding of who are we building for, what kind of impacts we can create for them, drawing a kind of a value proposition for each group of our users. And then naturally some ideas about assumptions, features that we could build to create those impacts would surface. However, in Open Innovation Labs, we say we love the problem, not the solution. And that requires that we understand the real value, the real job to be done for the user. And that starts with exploring the users. And I'm pretty sure you can tell us how we explore those actors.
I can tell you that. We are using, one of the practice we're using is the empathy map.
So for each actor that we identified, or actor groups, we will create an empathy map.
Exactly, one empathy map per actor. So the idea is, let me summarize it in one word: ownership. Own our ship. Okay? So the idea is that we want to put the user at the center of the process. That's what we call user-centered design. And we want everyone to be part of it. Not just the product owner, not just the designer, not just the developer, everyone as part of the process. And so the way we do it is we're going to run some user research, user interview, usability, you name it. And the full team is going to participate and gather the information, because the more point of views you have, the better it is for understanding the problem we are solving, because we are trying to solve a problem for someone. So we have that in mind, and we need that.
So for sure you will build a better understanding of the journey of those people.
Exactly, and the information was shared right away. You don't have to write documentation and pass it on and on and on and lose a little bit of the information. You do it right away. And the good thing is that it's the beginning of the journey. And then with that information, we're going to move to the next practice as part of the journey.
What would that be?
What about event storming?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So you take that journey for each and every actor and you try to expand it with event storming.
Exactly, with
Tell
event
me more.
storming. So event storming is another awesome practice that we like to use. And again, it's something we do all together, not just a one-person thing. The second thing is that it's an iterative process. So you build it as you go along and you come back to it when you need it. And the way it works is that you map commands and events that actually represents your journey. And the event storm is structured from bottom to top, bottom being the more technical aspects of it. And the more you go top, the more you go to the user interface and the thing that the users are going to see at the end. You want to learn two awesome things about the event storm?
Can't resist it.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. So awesome number one is that it's a visual practice. So when you enter the room, you see the event storm. It radiates across the room. So you don't have to get into a computer, open folders, browse, etc. You see it right away and you can talk about it. You can walk people on the event storm. Second awesome thing is that it mechanically helps you build the next practice. It's a bit like an Aikido move.
Something to keep it all together.
Exactly, it's a natural flow. You're gonna take a command and boom, slap it into the next practice.
Which will be a story map.
Okay, story map.
But we use a slightly modified story map because we started with the impacts. We started with exploring the actors and understanding the value propositions we want to have created for them. So those impacts would actually be the backbone of our story map. And all of the ideas for deliverables, like the deliverables and features we identified in the impact map, the ideas that came to exploring the users, or the how might we questions that allows us to innovate on really, really differentiating features. The same thing from event storming. The how might we's that we may identify, how might we improve that journey, or the commands that we can translate into stories. All of them would naturally flow into the story map, where we can see the whole product emerge. It will also allows us to identify gaps in our design.
Exactly.
So do we have an important actor, an important impact for this actor for which we are not designing? There's a gap. And it will allow you to slice this product into various iterations, various different deliveries. And the beauty of this is then you can create a roadmap for flow. You would take all those ideas of how might we explorations, and you would capture them, structure them in terms of goals. What kind of iterations we can have in order to create capabilities for our customers. What kind of capability you want to create, that will be the goal. And you identify the experiments and the research that you need to carry out to understand what could be the thing that we need to build, which will be the epics and the stories. And they will flow. You will follow them all the way to the end. And do you know what's the end?
No, I don't.
Well, we started with a goal, and how we measure success. Well, we need to measure it. We need to make sure that whatever comes at the end is actually delivering on those impacts. And the beauty of it is that, as everything else we do, it's iterative. The more you learn, the more you go back and enhance those artifacts, those practices. So that is, in 5 minutes, how you can make your DevOps team work as an open source community. Yes. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more you would be interested to learn. So how can people learn about it?
Okay, I'm glad you asked. So there are 4 ways to learn more about it. Way number 1 is you turn on Red Hat signal at the top of your building and we'll fly in. Or way number 2, you can get to openpracticelibrary.com. We'll see all these practices and so many more that are described. Way number 3 is that you can get to redhat.com/services, or you can reach to your executive account manager to
have a conversation.
Exactly, to have a conversation.
I prefer the first one.
I prefer the first one.